My name is Alex Ulate. I'm from Orlando, Florida, and this is my post Drift101 experience. What did I do before Drift101? I was really big into grip. I did a lot of autocross. I did it about once a month. I had a 2003 Evo 8. I loved the thing. It brought me a championship in the Gulf Coast Autocrossers in the street modified class. So I loved it. I loved grip. I loved my car. I loved everything about it. That's as much as I could fit in my high school schedule, but that's what I did. I was really into grip and speed and drag racing and stuff like that. I liked drifting at the time, but it wasn't that big of a deal for me. It was just kind of another sport in the era of motorsports. So I just didn't really pay much attention to it. It's kind of an interesting story. I didn't really personally myself hear about Drift101, but around my end of senior year, I started actually getting into drifting. Not drifting the Evo route, obviously, but I had video games, YouTube, everything, and online stuff. The drifting just got to me and drew me in. It drew a lot of interest to me. And my dad saw that, and being the generous man that my dad is, we were doing a trip to California for a big birthday party for one of my mom's family members. So basically one of my family members, but he decided to surprise me with a drifting class. And his big thing is he just wanted to make sure that if I was gonna get into this, it'd be something I liked instead of something I get into, put all this money into and realize I don't like it. But what he did is he just looked up straight up online on Google drift schools, and he found one in Florida, actually around the Miami area. I forgot their name, but it didn't work out well for us because we tried to schedule something, or he tried to schedule something, but it never worked out. They never followed through. They were never ready, stuff like that. So as soon as he found Drift101, he contacted Naoki, and Naoki replied straight away, and we got the class all set up. And when I was in California, he surprised me, and it was awesome. We showed up at Willow Springs and got to be taught by a professional Formula D driver, Jeff Jones, which was pretty cool. I don't think a lot of people get to say that they've been taught by a professional driver, but that's how I found out about Drift101. Oh man, I don't even know if I can list how many things taking that initial class taught me. I guess I could start with the beginning. They had me do some simple donuts, and one of their biggest things that they teach there is throttle modulation and control, and that was my first mistake. I full throttle did a donut, and it was awesome. It sounded cool and everything, but from a different perspective of a teacher, it wasn't that cool. So they were able to take me, someone who's never really done any sort of rear-wheel drive drifting in their life, and by the end of the day I was doing complete J-turns, figure eights, controlled donuts, you name it. First day, it was awesome, and it taught me a lot about car control, which is the biggest thing, not even just at the track or actually drifting, but in real life. My life has changed a lot since Drift101. I don't want to say it's purely because of Drift101, but after that class is what really pushed the button for me to be like, all right, I want to start drifting. I'm done with grip, really. I still enjoy it now, but as soon as I took that class, when we got home, I sold my Evo, I got a truck, and I set up a deal with Naoki to build me a drift car, which is the one you see back here, which was really cool. It was actually an interesting deal because at the time when I was looking for cars, I couldn't really find anything that had reliable sources for where the work was done or how it was done or if it works. An actual car with no rust or anything. It was just so hard to find a car here for some reason in Florida that would meet my standards of what I would like to buy. So after long talks with my dad and trying to figure out what the good game plan would be, basically we decided to give Naoki a call and see what his opinion was on things. And it turned out to be one of the best decisions I ever made, because it ended up being a deal that we made with him to build this drift car, and to have me actually come out to California for the summer and kind of intern with him, for him to teach me a lot about what drift cars are about and how they're built, because I really wanted to just be a part of the build. I didn't want to just pay someone to build the car for me. So I had that month-long internship about 2 years ago, and since then I've been back to California probably 4 or 5 times. I've seen Naoki every time, I've made new relationships, and my life has changed a lot since Drift101. Since I got into drifting after Drift101 too, I pretty much changed everything about how I view working on cars. I have this car now that at the time it was a proper drift car. Didn't look pretty, but it worked excellent. And now I have modified it even more to myself. I've put my own touch on it. I've modified it to be more of a capable drift car than it was at the time. But I always upgraded things with what I thought my level of drivability was. And that is a big thing that Naoki drilled into my head, because a lot of kids these days who get into drifting automatically go buy either a shell of a 240 and put $10,000 to $15,000 worth of engine work in there and then expect to be doing pro stuff. But something he drilled in my head was simplicity. Simplicity is the name of the game. That really stuck with me. So basically, this is still a very simple drift car. It's only got a T28 SR20 in it and a Villains Drift ankle kit, welded diff. That's pretty much it when it comes to modifications that are major. I mean, I have the drift button, as they call it. I have a quick release, I have a cage, I have 2 bucket seats, I have a helmet, everything you need to basically be in Pro-Am with the least amount of power. If I were to put a bigger engine in this, it would probably do just fine in Pro-Am. But again, I am upgrading this car as my drivability increases, and that's something that I learned from Naoki. It saves money in the long end, and it's just a lot more worth it. You have a lot more fun. After taking the Drift101 class and finding out that I did like drifting that much, it actually pushed me to start my own YouTube channel to actually share my experiences that I have in drifting and kind of promote myself and actually try and take this into a career in being a professional drifter or something like that. But I've taught for him, I've filmed for him, I've done all these different things, and I love going there. I want to keep going back as much as I want, or as much as I can at least. I mean, you're asking a college kid what his plans for the future are, but when it comes to plans for the future for the motorsports part of my life, I think that's the most clear thing I have, honestly. Go back to California is pretty much my future plan. My goal is to try and go pro, obviously, and Naoki has been a big help with that from Drift101, and my plans are basically I spend the semesters going to school, working, saving up money so I can do events and come back to California, and go to California for the summer to learn as much as I can, make more connections through Naoki and just being there in California. But this trip I'm trying to save up to actually bring this car over to California so I can drive it and Naoki can see me drive and do all these things that would be very beneficial to me as a driver. But yeah, this is my post Drift101 experience, and I hope you take the class. Was that good?